Hello everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Hoenn Challenge. Last time we had a little run with Zigzagoon, which took a while to make and was a lot of fun. So this time we'll go down a bit more of a ghostly route. And so, today is the day we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Sapphire with only one Duskull? Duskull is my favorite ghost type Pokemon. With its cute skull and single eye, it caught mine quite fast. It's a strong tank with high physical and special defense. However, the attack stats are really low again, both physical and special, and HP and speed are almost non-existent. It has a terrible moveset as well that is learned by level up, but for that we can get some really good TMs. Since this is a Sapphire run, the end will be our fight against Steven as champion. We might have a hard time in some parts, but I feel like we can win this even without having to get to level 100. I can only use one Duskull in battle, but I can catch other Pokemons for HMs and a Magikarp for the 7th gym. No glitches or exploits are allowed. No items in battles, but using them outside is fine and giving health items is okay too. Let's go! First I used the Universal Randomizer to change Mudkip with Duskull so that we can start the run with one. As we enter the first fight against Poochyena, we are lucky that I swapped to Sapphire instead of Emerald, as the Zigzagoon would have dragged this fight to the maximum. As we go north to fight against Brandon, we get an easy fight against his Trico, as he can't hit us with his tackle and will bring him down in a few hits. However, afterwards we meet our true worst enemy, a Zigzagoon. 20 minutes later, Kit struggles to win. Our next war comes rather quickly again, a Taillow that even manages to defeat us with a peck. Thankfully, we can skip both enemies after healing up. And as soon as we reach Rosboro City, I heal up and go to the gym. With only one attacking move in our arsenal, we spam it as much as we can. Sadly, we aren't able to defeat Geodude in 2 hits, meaning that the Roseanne was able to use potions. However, the potions soon stop and Geodude goes down. As her nose pass comes out, we get hit by a rock throw and retaliate with Nightshade. I was thinking of using Disable, but after 3 Nightshades, Nosepads also faints, and we get our first badge at a lower level than both of Roxanne's Pokemon. With one badge in our pocket, we run straight to Steven, and then try to fight Broly. As we're Ghost, his fighting moves won't hit us at all, so this will make it an easy fight. His Mashop goes down to 3 Nightshades, while his Makuhita can hit us with Knockoff. Thankfully it does no damage, and after many more Nightshades, we finish him with an Astonish in our first try. We reach Slateport, and on the beach we get crushed by a Zigzagoon once again. But thankfully we get an answer at the museum, the TM for Thief, which we teach immediately to Kid so that normal types won't be that much of a pain anymore. Soon afterwards we meet our rival Brandon, where the fight starts with a Numble burning us with his first Ember and brings us down to red health before we even bring it down. I don't think this is going to go down that easy, so we need to train a little bit more. I try again at level 25 when Numble goes down to 2 Nightshades and Reptane still hits us hard with Pursuit. 2 Nightshades bring it down to the smallest pixel possible, so I think one more level should allow us to 2-shot it. One more level later, Numble goes down in 2 Nightshades again, as does Grovyle after hitting us hard with a Pursuit again, as Whaler just splashes away while getting hit 3 times by more Nightshades. Next on the line is a 3rd gym. However, my recording got corrupted and I wasn't able to save it. I tried to fight him at level 28. It went horribly, as did my second try at level 36. And so I had to level my Duskull to level 39, which is a bit lower than the level I brought it up to for this refight that I recorded when I noticed that my recording was corrupted. The fight starts with a Magnetilo that tries to confuse us and almost goes down to 1 Nightshade, but 2 more Nightshades bring it down, similar to the Volt Orb that comes next. The last one, Magneton, becomes a bit more of a trouble as it paralyzed us and confuses us. However, it does not survive 2 Nightshades either. And so, we have our 3rd badge, for the 2nd time. After defeating Watson, the next big fight is against Archie. And as we reach the volcano, we see that Maxie gives his Poochyena some special food, similar to Archie. I need to give myself some of that too. Well, as for the fight, it goes absolutely horrible. First up is his Mightyena, which instantly flinches Kid with a bite. Second round, we get Sand Attack and miss our first move. The Mightyena goes down after the 2nd Nightshade, and his Golbat comes out. There we get bit once more, and flinch. More biting later, and Kid faints to the evil team. So we need to train a little bit more, I think. A bit of training and a lot of tries later, we get a run which starts a lot better. With an exchange of Bite and Nightshade, my Diana falls down quicker, as we get the first move on the second round. Golbat comes out next and uses a Bite and then Supersonic, which misses. And Golbat goes down to the second Nightshade. As his Sharpedo comes out, it focuses and gets hit by Nightshade. The second round is a big crunch, but Kid survives with 13 HP and lands a finishing Nightshade. This was a lot harder than I expected, but if you don't get flinched all the time, it is a lot more doable. So with Archie finally down, we try to see if Flannery is possible at the moment. First to be sent out is Slugma, who sets up a Sunny Day after falling to Astonish and Nightshade. Her second Slugma doesn't fend off much better, as it puts up a light screen and then falls down to the same 1-2 combo. Her signature Turkle comes out, and Nightshade brings him down to less than half HP and we get hit by a Sun-powered Overheat, which brings us from full HP to 32. That was a bit more damage than expected. However, she couldn't do anything against the second Lightshade, and so we now have half the badges. With the fight gym behind us, we now go to the normal gym. And as everyone knows, normal moves can't hit ghost types, so we should have an easy time. Right. Well, we only have one way of knowing. The fight starts okay, getting hit by a Yawn, and then we get a crit that deals almost a sixth of his HP. That is a bit concerning. However, with a bit of a grind, we get him down by the time we have lost half our HP. I really think I need to level up a bit. We reach level 50, but before we challenge him again, we're going to go get a specific TM that has also helped us a ton in our Zigzagoon run. TM27, Return. With these two new changes done, I decided to see if it was possible now. The first slacking goes alright. We get a small timer from him with Yawn, but our Return also deals a third of his HP. As the fight continues, his slacking keeps using Yawn. A bit weird, but this allows us to make it faint even before taking damage. His Vigoroth can take less returns, as it seems that 2 would do the trick. He has all his turns, so he can use Feint Attack on us twice, but he also goes down without much trouble. His last slacking comes out and takes out almost half the HP that we have. The battle is possible, I just need a little bit of luck. After many tries where the beginning of the battle happens exactly like our first fight, our little luck happens right at the end, as we crit him with a return from half HP to knocked out. With that, we have our 5th badge. With Surf now in our hands, we surf to an abandoned ship that should have a very good TM for us, which is hidden in the storage room. TM23, Ice Beam. On the way to 4-3 City, we also have an observatory with Team Alpha. With the admin, Shelly, being our mini-boss, the fight starts against the Carvania, who goes down to 1 return. The next one is a Diana, who survives the hit thanks to Intimidate, but the second round is the defeat. And as a reward, we get a little Pokemon from them, Castform, who is quite cute and has a really unique gimmick. Wait a second, Dorothy, where did you get that mail from? What is written in it?
Wah, hello there, Wario here to tell you that if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Otherwise this Master Thief will steal your treasures with his magic wand good style. Also check out Greenclonk's playthrough of my game, Wario, Master of Disguise. Haha, it's a steal of a game. Waha!
Oh, okay. Well, that was weird. But as we exit the observatorium, we meet our rival, Brandon. The fight starts with a fainting Numble, as he falls down to a single return. Wilma comes next and survives the return with a few pixels of HP. What happens afterwards is something not as fun, as he confuses us with a Water Pulse and we hit ourselves. But he then goes down to our next attack. Grovyle is last, he attacks us with a Leaf Blade and goes down to a single return. Thankfully it was much easier this time around. The 6th gym is next, with Vinona and her flying Pokemon. The fight starts with an aerial ace to the skull, which is fine, as our return brings him almost down, and with a 1-2 of pursuit and return, the Swallow goes down. As Pilipper comes out and hits an aerial ace too, then uses a protect, but goes down to return and Nightshade afterwards. Skarmory, which is most often the problem, goes down rather easily to 2 Nightshades, as Deltario uses the Dragon Breath and then spams 2 Dragon Dances. Thankfully, the Dragon Dances didn't get a chance to show their effect, as I'm sure it would have been a one-shot even at full HP. With the 6th badge in hand and new places to explore, we have a little fight with our rival again. This time it's also Brandon's last fight, as he brings out his Swallow, who double teams to escape us, but to no avail, as a return and pursuit brings it down. Wilma is next, who survives again with a sliver of HP, but goes down afterwards rather quickly. Reptane comes out, but the 1-2 of pursuit and return brings it back to the Pokeball. And lastly, Numel faints after one single return. Afterwards, we can get ourselves the Shadow Ball TM, which lies at the top of the Mount Pyre, as well as the Lax Incense. And afterwards, we activate Team Aqua's retreat from the top of Mount Pyre. We then have a fight against the Aqua admin Matt at their hideout, who sends out the Carvania, which goes down to a single return, and then he sends out the Sharpedo, which goes down to one return as well, and lastly a Mightyena, which gets put to almost half HP with a Nightshade and then gets healed. A small back and forth, and we can finish him off with the last Nightshade. As we approach the 7th gym, we also need to catch ourselves a little dummy fish to stand in the 2nd spot. As we then try the gym with Kid and Dummy, the fight starts with me trying out Nightshade. It brings Lunatone to half HP, as we fall asleep to Hypnosis and fall to a barrage of Psychic. I try a few more times, but it becomes the same over and over, so I level a little bit more before remembering about the nice TM of a few minutes ago. With that now learned, Lunatone goes down to a single hit as Dummy gets hit by Psychic and Solrock uses a Sunny Day. As we attack Solrock with a Shadow Ball as well, it survives with minimal HP. It gets healed up again, but the Pursuit and the Shadow Ball can't be beaten as Solrock falls to the ground. And we earn ourselves our 7th badge. A bit of walking and swimming later, we go to find Archie in the hidden cave. The fight starts with the typical Mightyena that intimidates our poor Kid. First round he uses a Swagger, which confuses Kid, but gives our return a higher kick. As our Nightshade gets a nice hit in, with now a boosted attack we decide to use Return instead, which brings him down to 1 pixel worth of HP, and the last return brings him down. His Crobat comes out and hits us with a Bite, which flinches us. Next he uses a Air Cutter, which deals no damage almost, and while our return brings him almost down. A super potion from Archie later, the return brings him to red, at which point a pursuit finishes him off. His Sharpedo comes last, he gets the Swagger off, which confuses us, but we get through the confusion and one-hit it. Afterwards we go to the Cave of Origins to fight against Kyogre, where our return takes a third of his HP, so with 2 more returns and a Nightshade, it goes down back to hibernation. The Emerald Champion Wallace, which is also the 8th gym leader, is next. His Love Disc has no chance, as a Shadow Ball crits him down. Wishcash tanks a lot more, as return does a third of his HP, while Nightshade does a little bit more. The best choice seems to be Shadow Ball, and as it finally goes down, the Sealeo takes 2 hits of Shadow Ball while hitting us with his Water Pulse. Next is Seaking, who calls for rain with Rain Dance, which speeds it up a bit and allows it to hit Kid with another Water Pulse. Lastly, there's Milotic, who brings Kid down with another Water Pulse. On the 2nd try, we reach Milotic with a bit more HP, which allows us to take a Water Pulse. As we see that Shadow Ball deals around 40% of its total HP, we get hit by another Water Pulse, which brings us down to 10 HP, and as we land with a critical Shadow Ball, bringing down Milotic and winning us our last gym badge. That last hit was quite needed, to be honest, as I doubt we could have defeated it without it. As we finish Victory Road, we get challenged once again by Wally, after he has had his training. His first Pokemon is Altaria, who safeguards and then falls to Ice Beam. Delcatty is next. With the return, she lands at a third of her HP, as Kid becomes immobilized by love and gets hit over and over again until he finally attacks back just to be immobilized again. Well, that went as bad as it ever could. On the 2nd try, we don't fall in love, and 3 returns later, Delcatty faints. Rosalia goes down to a single Ice Beam. Next is Magneton, who misses his Supersonic as he gets frozen from an Ice Beam, just to be finished by 3 Shadow Balls afterwards, and a return. Last is his Gardevoir, who faints after a single Shadow Ball. And with that we have our 2 rivals done. Now we are at the last spurt. The Pokemon League is in front of us now. I don't think I can win just yet, but we can always try. Sydney is first, and I already have a bad feeling. As his Mightyena sand attacks us, and we miss all our attacks, another sand attack and then 2 crunches later, brings Kid to faint. That was a lot harsher than I first imagined. Well, 2nd try. And we see that our Nightshade brings him to half HP, as his crunch deals a third of our HP. A second Nightshade in, and my Hyena goes down. As Cactan then comes in and finishes us with a feint attack. Yeah, I think this is not gonna be possible. I'll level up a bit more and try again at level 75, which made me reach Sharpedo, as Cactan misses his feint attack due to our lax incense. I don't think this is still it though, as Sharpedo makes us go down rather easily. I leveled 2 more times and used the 3 rare candies that I have found in our journey to get Kid to level 80. Many tries later and my Hyena goes down after using 1 sand attack, as Kid is now faster. Cactum comes out again and goes down to 1 single ice beam, as Sharpedo gets 1 crunch in and then swaggers us to give us a needed boost so that we can finish him off with a return. Absol is next, as it awaits us with Snatch. A return brings it down. His last Pokemon is Shiftry, which survives an Ice Beam and gets healed afterwards, and we then even miss with our second Ice Beam. It tries for a Swagger. Thankfully it doesn't manage to hit, as we have another back and forth with Ice Beam and healing. Thankfully Sydney runs out of potions and we manage to win against him for the first time. Phoebe is next with a Ghost Pokemon. This should be a bit easier, as this time around we have a good super effective move against all her Ghost Pokemon. Duskull comes first and goes down to a single Shadow Ball. Her Banette also faints quickly to Shadow Ball, while her second Banette uses Toxic on Kid before fainting as well. Her last Duskull comes out and gets hit by Shadow Ball, but it survives again with a low amount of HP. Thankfully it heals itself with a berry and thus goes down to the next Shadow Ball. Last is her Sableye, which uses Attract after we hurt ourselves due to confusion. This doesn't stop either, as now our HP dwindles due to confusion, Toxic and her Shadow Ball. This was quite unlucky now. Many tries later and I reach her Sableye again with almost a third of my HP and Toxic Poison. However, a good critical Shadow Ball wins us the fight once again. There is my luck back again. The Frosty Glacier is next, with her Glalie that no crunch. She doesn't take much to bring us down, as the second Glalie also uses crunch, as well as Shadow Ball to defeat Kid. I try a few more times and manage to beat the 2 Glalies, as one misses a crunch due to the lax incense again, and the other uses Hail and then gets crit. Her next Pokemon is a Celio, who uses Surf after getting 2 shot by Shadow Ball, similar to the second one, which uses Attract. Thankfully we manage to get through and reach Walrein, who manages to hit us with Blizzard in a Hail, making us obviously faint. Many tries later, we reach Walrein with 82 HP as the hail still falls, and Walrein misses not 1, but 2 blizzards, as the second Shadow Ball crits it down. I'm kinda sensing a pattern for the finishing blow here. Drake of the Elite Four is last, as he brings out his Shell Gun. I mistakenly use Shadow Ball first, as he crits with the Rock Tomb. Ice Beam brings him down though, as he manages to crunch us. A Flygon comes next, it too uses a crunch before falling to Ice Beam. With his Salamence next, it misses a Dragon Claw and then falls down instantly to Ice Beam, as does Ataria for obvious reason after boosting itself. His last Flygon comes out, uses a Sandstorm and then falls to Ice Beam. With that we defeated the easiest Elite Four in this run. I didn't think I would defeat it in my first try, but it went down quite nicely. And so we have the last fight for this run, Steven. I heal most of my moves as well as get back up with items before heading in. His first Pokemon is Karmory. It uses Toxic instantly, which sort of dooms our fight here, but we're defeated with 2 Nightshades. Cordele is next, who is a lot tankier than I first expected, as Ice Beam puts him at 2/3, and a Nightshade brings him down to red HP, which gets him healed up again. A Shadow Ball does even less damage. I think I need to find a better strategy for Cradily, as its tankiness makes it a bit tough for the Kid. In the second try, we get a better run, as we don't get Toxic and get our 3 Shadow Balls in. Next it is Claydol, who puts up a Reflect, which counters my Shadow Ball spam, but he does go down to 2 Ice Beams. Acheron is next, and he gives us a free hit of Nightshade as he takes in Sunlight for Solar Beam, but doesn't manage to hit us as we take him down with the second Nightshade. Armaldo is next and manages to survive an Ice Beam and takes us out with Ancient Power. A shame, this was going so well. Many tries later I managed to get to Armaldo again with a lot more HP this time, where we hit an Ice Beam, then 2 Shadow Balls, bringing him finally down as we survive with 27 HP. This is absolutely not going to be enough for Metagross, as the Meteor mashes us down. Many tries again later, we reached Metagross as I managed to freeze our model and then defeat it without getting hit. I tried to freeze Metagross as well, as he misses not 1, not 2, but 4 Meteor matches in a row, allowing me to use 2 Nightshades and bringing our run to a finish. Well, that ending was hilarious and also quite hard. And with that, we managed to finish the Pokemon League as well as Pokemon Sapphire with a single Duskull at level 83 and a playtime of around 25 hours. I can expect it to not need level 100, but the trainers that were the hardest I had completely forgotten about. Be it Archie, Norman or Sydney. These dark moves can really tear down a ghost or psychic type. I rather enjoyed the different kinds of spikes in difficulty that this run had compared to my first one, as the first gym became rather easy, but later parts that were easy before have become rather hard. I'm gonna try to upload these kinds of Pokemon challenges every month, but only on the 27th. If you wonder why, well, you'll see next month. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did and hope you all have an amazing day. Bye!